Hey everyone, welcome to episode 8 of Beyond the Pit. Today we have Point Blank from New York, and I'm really excited to chat with you all. How are you doing tonight?
We're doing very well. Thank you for having us.
What's up? Thanks for having us. Nice name, Dom.
Thanks. Nice name too. Let's start with your origins. How did each of you get into hardcore music?
I think Ken and Dan will have to start with that one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let Ken and Dan start.
Let me just give the short version.
Yeah, the short version.
Uh, I'm from the early '80s. So is Dan. We're with the first wave of hardcore. So I got into it. Neighbors, Ramones, punk, and then transitioned to hardcore. Early '80s. Blah blah blah. Dan.
Yeah, I got turned on by, older brothers who went to college and came back with records and, Ramones, Sex Pistols were in there. And from there, it just, blossomed. Dead Kennedys, Black Flag, Circle Jerks, New York hardcore bands, all that in the early 80s. And then, yeah, that's how I got into, family and, you know,
Yeah.
good aggressive music kind of, during that time was fun when you're
Yeah.
riding your BMX bike and your skateboard and shoplifting and causing trouble.
Yeah.
Um, I got into it. I was big into drumming and mostly metal, and I was looking for a band, and I saw a flyer for this band, Bias. That was my first band, and they were a New York hardcore band. They kind of introduced me to it, and then I just took it from there. Yeah, pretty much. It was them that introduced me to that NYHC X and New York hardcore, and then it just really evolved from there.
Hmm.
And I've always been into music my whole life. I'm a little bit. I wasn't quite there for the '80s scene. I was only a newborn. Um, but I grew up always into music, playing music, listening to music, and I found these guys when they were looking for a bass player. So that kind of was like my big introduction into this specific genre.
Yeah. That's sick. Dan, your roots go back to the 1980s in Underdog, right?
Yeah, it was one of the bands I played in
Yeah.
back then.
Um,
Um,
can you can you share a bit about how the transition was from moving to Underdog to Point Blank and other bands?
um, Before there was Underdog, there was a band called the Numbskulls,
Oh,
and I was in a band called Geek Attack, and we, people I went to high school with were in the Numbskulls, and we became friends, and we played shows together, and we played shows with all those early, hardcore bands. Like we played with like Violent Children. We played with Youth. I was at Youth of Today's first show
ooh,
before I wasn't even an underdog. Like we were playing in, 83 and 80, 84. Well, the numbskulls kind of shuffled around, and by 80, 85, I joined the band, and we played around for a little bit as the numbskulls, and then a couple more changes made, and the band changed around a little bit, and it became Underdog. So Underdog was like 80, late 85, 86, 87. We were playing. And it was a great time to play music because it was many of us were self-taught and we're just trying to figure it out. And that goes with all like the bands like from that time, like Agnostic Front. We played
yeah,
we played shows with them back then, and they were, as awesome as they were then, they're still awesome. But
yeah,
it's been a long transition between 1987 and I guess it would be 2015, Kenny.
Yeah, yeah.
2014. I played
24.
in a I played in a like a pre-grunge band before like the grunge thing happened, and that was called Agony Flower. And from there, from those, there's some people that I played with in that. They formed a band called Dahlia Seed, which was a really cool kind of like post-punk emo '90s hardcore slash punk band, if you want to call them that. And then I had to get a job. I had to pay my rent, Still played
Yeah.
the guitar, jammed around with people, never really did much. Uh, about 10 years before I joined Kenny, I started a band called The Cleaner, or it was actually like Mr. Wolf's Cleaning Service. And then it was The Cleaner. And it was kind of, we were kind of like a three-piece hardcore-ish like rock band. And that finally kind of played out, and people moved away. We moved on, and I jumped on board with Kenny. And we just really stuck with the hardcore punk kind of roots, and we've been, playing that ever since. Been fun. Even funner now that we got these two characters for the year and 3 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hardcore is so much about the live experience. What do you guys think your most memorable show has been so far?
I mean, for me, it's always gonna go. Well, for
Yeah.
now, I go back to the one in Montreal, the trackside.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna
that
go
was a
with
great show.
I'm gonna go with the basement at the cave.
The cave is kind
That
of right up
cave
there.
show was great, man. Those kids turned up hot, like 100+ degrees in that
Ooh.
basement. Summertime, like 70 kids in there. They moved the whole time,
For
and
every band, for every band.
that energy just kind of fueled us back and forth. Like that one kind of sticks out. Yeah, I'm gonna just go with that one because those kids really
Yeah,
they just turned out. They were
it
all
was a
about
good
it.
one.
Yeah.
It was a basement, and out on Long Island, an all age show run by some young guy,
How
and
hot was it in there? Like, how did it feel?
I'll put it to you this way: you couldn't put stickers on the wall
Jesus.
because
Oh
the
my
walls were
God.
actually like sweating. Like there was like moisture. There was like literally like it looked like water on the walls. So if you
What
put
the
a sticker,
hell?
it just slid right
What the
down.
hell?
And then after each band played, they had to like sop off the front of where the drums were and where everybody was standing because everything was just wet. It was just moisture. So
Jeez.
I trained like my studio that I had in my house was it had no ventilation, so I'm used to hot. I like it hot. I like 100 degrees and
Yeah.
hot because I play faster and I feel better. Uh, that was probably like the hottest environment that I've ever played in. And there were no stage lights or nothing.
Ooh, yeah.
just basement heat and body heat.
Yeah.
Yeah. And how many people are probably in that basement? Like, that
Seven.
probably didn't help. Like, all the people
I mean,
moving.
what, like 70 kids were there was like 70 people down there.
Dang.
They
Okay.
were
A
Yeah.
lot,
packed like sardines.
a lot more than the fire code would probably allow.
Yeah.
What
Jeez.
what fire code?
Yeah, exactly what fire code.
Exactly.
This is
Shows
That was a
possible.
good. That was a really cool show. We played at this place called the Trackside in Montreal, and which was Dom wasn't there for that, but and this place was also a DIY space, and it was in this old manufacturing building, brick building by the railroad tracks. You had to go behind the building to get in this little kind of wooden
Ooh.
walkway they built. But that place, you go in and you walk in, and there's a door person. It's a little really like cool little like bar and a sitting area, very small. And then you go into the door next door, and there's a stage, and you look up from the stage, and uh they built a balcony with chicken wire, well, fence wire, with fencing wire
Ooh.
to keep people. So it kind of felt like you were going into like some steel cage death match thing, because
That.
you
Yeah.
you're surrounded in this place,
The
and
like feet were dangling from the top, like
yeah,
boots were
people are
dangling.
hanging,
People are coming
but
down.
another thing that it was the same thing like the basement show was, it was a built-in scene. They just come to hear music, and they just dig it, and they want to have a great time, and
Yeah.
people, both times people were just going crazy, and jumping up and down and dancing and having fun. uh,
Yeah.
Definitely feel like
unfortunately some schism happened there, and that place has gone the wayside, but I'm sure one's popping up any day now in Montreal, and we hope to go back there because we had a really good time.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. Shows like that are what make hardcore so special. On that note, though, what's probably the craziest thing you've seen happen at a show? Like whether it was one of yours or just in general.
about the there was the other kind of DIY show this last summer at the at the suite where the guy got kicked in the face,
Ooh.
Oh yeah.
and they were out in the hallway, like recovering.
Now, the best was we played a show in a story at the bar, and Kenny has the tendency to go up and scream in people's faces.
Uh,
And apparently, somebody didn't like it. And
Uh-oh.
from the back of the dancing area comes a glass flying, going
What?
goes over my head, lands between Kenny and I, and we're like, "What was that?" And it turned out that the guy was pissed because Kenny was singing in his face. He couldn't take it. So he got
Jesus.
mad and he threw his glass at Kenny. That was probably the most craziest thing that happened at our show.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the worst thing I ever saw was more recent was we played that Vision show, Kenny. You remember the Doing It for Dave show in Asbury? And some guy did a stage dive and broke his neck.
yes.
They had to stop the show. They came in.
Jeez.
It was crazy. It was
Yeah.
crazy. Someone broke his neck.
And that same show, that guy Nate, didn't he have a heart attack? Remember?
Yeah,
Back.
the guy had a heart attack too right after playing.
Jeez.
Crazy. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
there's other, there are other things like I remember when I was in Underdog and that we were like in Arkansas and we were playing at this like honky tonk had a little stage and had like like I expected it to you expect it to have like chicken wire up front like in the Blues Brothers when they show up at the honky tonk, Bob's honky tonk, whatever, and it's like chicken wire because everybody throws their glasses at them.
Oh, yeah.
So this guy sitting in the front row, and he's just sitting there like an older guy, and he takes his beer bottle and smashes it and he calls it up towards me on the stage, and he's like, "We want a fucking guitar solo. You got
What
no
the
guitar
fuck?
solos." I'm like, like I go, "You give me $20, I'll give you a guitar solo." He goes, "All right, motherfucker," and he throws out $20, put it in my pocket. I play a guitar solo, which was like, blink, 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 blink.
Yeah.
And we got out of there, and I bought the band pizza with the $20, and then we slept on. I remember sleeping on somebody's floor after that to get home for the next day when we left. That was,
That's crazy.
that's like 1987. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. We want to fucking get our solo.
You guys have a tendency for broken glass, apparently.
Every band has a broken glass
Yeah.
story, I'm sure.
Yeah.
It goes along. It goes
Yeah.
along with the territory of playing a well, you play in a bar, there's gonna be broken glass.
Yeah. Uh,
I'll be back. You guys keep talking. I got headphones on.
all right. Um, do you feel like the energy in the scene has like changed over the years, especially in New York hardcore?
It's I'm jumping in on this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's never been better. You show up for the scene, and the scene shows up for you. New York hardcore will never die. Like, I don't know what the talk is and the energy. Maybe some people step away from the scene, but there's always new people in the scene, and then there's the main scene.
Definitely.
But the energy in it has always been at a high level, period. And there were times, I think, in the 80s and in the 90s where maybe it fluctuated and it may not have been as ferocious as it was in the very beginning. But let's be honest. I mean, all the ages on this call, okay? Like,
Yeah.
if you look at all our ages, we're all talking about New York hardcore. And the birth of it is 1981. It's 2025. So
Yeah.
New York hardcore is doing just fine, and the energy probably, it just can't be better. And it's only growing. And the thing that excites me is the young guys.
Yeah.
I mean, like the kids that are in their teens and their early 20s.
Like you, Dom. Like you.
Yup.
Dom, you.
They dance their tails off. The fact that we're here talking to you, I would say the energy is great. The fact that you're excited to talk to, us, that says it right there, man.
Yeah.
Hey Dom, how old are you?
I'm 15.
Yeah, I probably was at one of my first shows around 14, 15. Kenny was
Yeah.
a few years younger than me, so he might have been, 12 or 13. It's
Yeah.
funny because Kenny and I ran around the same circles in the early 80s, mid 80s, but we never met each other.
Oh, that's crazy.
We
Yeah,
were we
but
were parallel. We were parallel
yeah,
Yeah,
on the course line.
we were at the same shows too.
I
I'm
seen
still trying to wrap my head around that.
I
yeah,
seen Dan play. I seen Underdog, but
that's
we're not.
crazy.
It's
Yeah.
crazy how that works.
Seen around here, probably more alive than ever too. Like everywhere. Seen in Canada, more alive than ever. The
Yeah,
scene in New York, more alive than ever. Scene over here, more alive than ever. This band, actually, they're like brand new, Haywire. They're
Yeah.
getting
yeah, yeah,
huge. I just
yeah,
saw them play. I saw a clip of them play. I think it was Ireland. It was a filled up bar. There was no space at all. Like it was filled door to stage. Everyone
yeah.
was on top of each other singing. It was huge. And that's like a band that's brand new from here. So that just really shows how huge hardcore is.
Awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
in fact, our favorite shows are always the ones where we play with the teenagers.
Yeah.
Really. Look, we like playing for our friends. We love playing for our friends, trust me. But that's a built-in thing, We're gonna get, you're gonna get accolades from your friends and stuff. It's when we play with young people like you, and that really rubs off the energy on everybody in the band. And we
Yeah.
come off that and we're like, come off the stage and they're like, man, you guys are great. You remind me of Bad Religion and Token Entry
I love
and
Bad
the Dead
Religion.
Kennedys all in one. And I'm like, oh man, that's pretty cool. Thanks. You
Yeah.
know, and then I asked them if they're in a band. And sometimes it's like, no, but I really want to join one. I'm like, well, go learn an instrument. Go get a guitar, go find one at a garage sale, something. Go out and you really got to go out and do it because that's how it worked with me. I mean, you go out and do it. Like 15 years old, I wanted to play guitar, and I got my neighbor had instruments in his. He had an older brother, and they had a little PA and a drum set and stuff, and we used to fool around there. And he played a little bass, and his brother showed me some guitar stuff, and then I bought a guitar, and we formed our first band, Geek Attack, and then from there was Geek Attack, Numbskulls, Underdog, a
Huh.
few other bands, all the way to now.
Yeah.
And now and we just we and we're so excited. We just were in the studio this weekend working on our fourth album
Ooh.
and a full new one with these two characters.
I was actually gonna
So
ask you about new music, but that answers the question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I promise you this. I promise everyone this. This one hits harder than Grandma's wooden spoon.
Ooh, okay.
If
it
you
was
really
harder than
listen,
what?
it hits harder than Grandma's wooden spoon.
Oh yeah,
And
that
I
had
Yeah.
think one of the cool things with me joining with Point was I have a very aggressive background with the metal and the heavier side, beat down and all that. So I came in and stayed within the realm of what Point Blank does, but I brought my aggressiveness to the drumming, which I think punched up the whole band a little bit and maybe changed the dynamic of where they were to where it is now.
Yeah.
I'm really excited for the new record, and that was a fun day. That was like one of those days you dream about when you're a kid and
Yeah.
you like want to be in a band, you know. So starting to live a lot of that with these guys.
yeah.
Yeah.
We're glad you came along for the ride, Dom, for real.
Yeah.
You know.
Hell yeah,
Yeah.
be again, man.
If all of you guys had to each make a list, what would not in order, because I can't even do it in order, but what would your top three albums be, do you think? Or top five even?
Well, is there a genre in it, or is it just all around?
All around, you could pick a genre for each if you really wanted to.
Oof.
Fun.
Oh, I I'm gonna go. I'm gonna pass right now.
All right.
I got. Yeah, I'll jump in.
Okay.
Okay. So number one, agnostic front, my life, my way. Okay. Number two, sick of it all, last act of defiance. And number three, Madball, hardcore lips.
I
You're going strictly hardcore.
yeah.
You know, that's like I sworn in
That's
a
your
league
thing.
here. I sworn
That
to leave. I
yeah.
could throw out other stuff. There's metal up there and other stuff and jazz and anything Buddy Rich would be
Yeah, I love
anything
jazz.
Buddy Rich.
Actually, interview before this that I actually have released because I recorded an episode before this one, but it's not out yet. The one I did before this was Pete from Sick of It All.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah,
Awesome.
uh,
We love
I
Pete.
think I played their
yeah.
first show.
Ooh, yeah, we were talking about that.
I think so. I think it might have been with us. It was like Sick of It All, Underdog, maybe the Adolescents, or
Whoa,
maybe or it was AF Underdog, Sick of It All, something like that. We played a few shows back then
yeah.
I'd
together
like to take
in
the
his early
moment,
days.
since you brought up Pete, to send a shout out and a thanks to Pete because he was doing Pete packs to raise money for Lou, and I grabbed one, and it's like picks and stickers.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. He sent me one of those.
Yeah, so I got one of those. Now, did you get this? And I don't know. I don't try to blow up spots, but this was really cool. It was a sick of an old dragon pin that was in there,
Oh,
which
Ooh,
I didn't expect because it wasn't advertised.
that's
I
really
got a
cool.
bunch of stickers, got the pics, and then I pulled it out, and it looked a little like older because it didn't look like fresh out of a plastic.
yeah.
It
It
looked
was kind
like
of
something
weathered.
personal. And
Yeah.
I don't know. So one day I'll have that. So I thank you, Pete, and shout out to Pete for that because that was like when I pulled it out, I was like, whoa,
You
cool,
know, Dom, that might make you an associate member of the alleyway crew.
Actually,
maybe.
let me grab something real quick. I want to
Oh
show you guys
wow.
something. Hold up.
Yeah, Kenny went to get something too. I bet, or he went to the
Now, you know
bathroom.
what? Now I'm gonna go get it to show it off.
Mhm.
I'm gonna go get it.
Go
Hold on.
get it.
All right.
Hold on, hold on, hold
I
on.
have this.
Oh wait,
You
is that a
can't really see
jacket?
it. Yeah, it's a jacket. Actually,
Oh, that's thick.
my dad knows Pete. We went to visit him. He gave me that for my birthday, and
Nice.
that's probably my favorite jacket. Like,
By the way,
I
by the
love
way,
that one.
that guy Pete, he's a great guitar player.
Yeah, he is.
He does I've never heard him play anything else. He does what he does. He does it super great and nonstop. In fact, just before COVID, I saw Sick of It All. Yeah, Sick of It All in AF
I was at that show.
neighbor in Queens. They played in
Yeah,
Queens
I
at
think.
the
Wait, what year was
Blackthorn.
that?
So
I don't
what
know.
did
It
Dom
was
just
Wait,
show us? Because
no,
I missed that. I
that
went
was
to my
before
oh
COVID. Never mind, I wasn't.
no. Man, he was nonstop,
Yeah,
nonstop moving and jumping and twisting and and it was like I was like, how the fuck how do you play the
yeah.
guitar without losing your place?
That's what I'm wondering.
And
I
then I
gotta
realized
ask.
maybe he was playing, I don't know if he tunes to an open chord or something and plays, with a bar finger over everything
Mhm.
for half some of the songs. I don't know, but and their sound, his sound, it's like the fucking guitar like hits you right in the gut.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
what
Here's
was
my
that? I
here's,
missed it because I ran to go get the pin to show you. But
All right, show us your pin, Doc.
all right, hold up.
Here
So
we go.
get it.
Oh, you have a whole hat.
Yeah. So the whole hat's got like all hardcore pins
Oh,
on it.
hell yeah. Oh,
But
Is that Bridge 9?
yeah, Bridge Nine is on there.
Oh,
There's
hell yeah. They're
Ball.
from around here. Women of the
Um,
Pit. They're
but
close friends of ours.
yes, Little Vet, love the lady.
Yeah.
Shout out. Here it is, right here. Let's try.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
You see
Silence
it?
equals
Yeah, that's
death, too.
that's
Twisted
the
Sister.
Yeah. Well, Twisted Sister. I found this in Vermont when we played up in
Oh,
Vermont.
wait, where do you play Vermont? Because I just went there recently.
Where do we play Vermont?
played an outdoor festival in
It was called. It was in Brandon. It was called Punk Stock.
Brandon.
Oh,
Punk Stop.
I think
They're
I've heard
called.
of that. Hold
It
up.
was like their first one or second one. I can't remember.
Punk Stock.
I
Yeah,
think it might have been
I
the first.
swear I've heard of that. Hold on.
Yeah, it might have been their first. It was good. They're a good time, and
Oh, yeah,
it was a
yeah, yeah.
great. Every
That was a fun
we
day.
were
And
floored.
cool vendors. So
Oh,
I
yeah,
actually
that's
found that
cool.
pin.
I like that art.
All right,
I found
Kenny,
that
what do
pin.
you got? What are you
that's
showing?
Doc.
Oh yeah, he's showing the post.
There
Oh
it
man,
is.
I love
Kenny's
that
got the
art.
man cave, and Kenny's
That's
got a man cave with everything in frames and shit.
that's the
I love that.
creature from the Black Lagoon,
That's
right?
it. You got
Yeah,
it.
Yeah.
that's exactly what it is.
Here's my picks, right? Where it all began for me.
Ramones. Hell yeah.
Ramones.
Then we go to
Oh,
Oh, that's a good
Slide it
one.
over, slide it over. I can't see. Oh, the Roar cassette,
hey,
without a doubt.
these are
Yeah.
all originals. These
I
are
was
all
just
originals,
gonna,
by
I
the
was
way.
just gonna ask too.
And then
Yeah.
you can't.
Minor
Come on.
threat. Yep. Definitely.
Wow,
I could pick a lot more, but I won't. Let's not go
we'll be here all day. If we did that.
all
Yeah.
day. A lot of records over there.
I can't
Yeah.
really pick my top three of all time, but for right now, probably I don't know if you've heard of Title Fight. They're like post-hardcore. The Last Thing You Forget, probably The Poison, and then that album actually, Master Killer by Marauder.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, Marauder.
Yep. I
my
love
wife
Marauder.
loves
Sweet.
Marauder. That's her favorite album.
I'll give you
That's
my
why.
I'll give you three from me. Um, The Crack by the Ruts.
Mm,
Great punk record, punky reggae, punk, really, really a little bit of jazzy in it, but man, that record is really, really awesome.
yeah.
Uh, I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of the more punky stuff, but I will have to say the Roar cassette by the Bad Brains is without a doubt one of those top records that I would have, and Kenny and I would agree on that. It's we've discussed that. In fact, I was like talking about maybe I should buy the album of it
Yeah.
these days because I miss it. But and one other one, seriously, like this record is just the record that got me going, and it would be Nevermind the Bollocks by the Sex Pistols.
Mm,
That all put
I
me
have
into
that
where I've been
somewhere.
going now. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
and I think I'm gonna go see them. They're coming to New York in the fall, and I think I'm gonna have to buy a ticket and go see them. And I think they're playing in Brooklyn, but they haven't announced where.
Oh
So
yeah.
I'm looking. Yeah, they have that new singer guy. They sound really good, and it doesn't matter to me whether it's Johnny Rotten or whoever singing, because to
Yeah.
be honest with you, Johnny Rotten is a great singer, and he was awesome. And I saw them when they came back in '86, and I had was it '80? No, '96. They came back, and I was grateful that I got an opportunity to photograph them at one of the shows at the Roseland, and they were awesome. And they've always been awesome. They've only put out one record, but he it's a front man is it's a young man thing. You got to have energy, and
Yeah.
and that's the one thing that Ken has is nonstop energy
Yeah,
for
definitely.
everything. And the band sounds better than ever because they're just they've been practicing, they've been playing for years, so now that they really know what they're doing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, the politics aside, I got to Sex Pistols.
Yeah. We're kind of running low on time because
All
Zoom
right.
has this stupid timer thing where it
Oh
makes
yeah,
me
30
only have
minutes.
it where
30 minutes or 45.
I'm not too sure. It only allows me to have like a meeting for like 43 minutes.
Yes,
I don't
that's the
know
free
why.
version.
Yeah, I gotta
You
buy
can always
pro.
re-up it. You can always
Yeah.
just restart the meeting.
Oh, true. Actually,
Oh, and I'm going to tell you, I got tickets to the Hives. The
the
Hives are
hives.
playing with Scowl on Record Store Day at
Scowl.
Rockefeller. Yeah,
Yeah.
Rockefeller Center for free.
I
Oh,
got tickets too.
For, you got two
sick.
tickets too, right? You
Yeah.
won got it, right? Why it wouldn't be no brain? I'm getting myself tickets.
Yeah.
Speaking of
Chris,
tickets,
do you have top three albums?
I have a lot more than top three. It's kind of hard to pick. I'm
Yeah.
not sure. Uh,
What are you listening to now, Chris, these days?
I'm listening to I don't know everything.
Yeah.
You do, I
A
know.
lot of the bands we play with, I check out and
Are you
listen to.
listening to Gaslight the Anthem again?
I really listen to them. Yes,
And
Yeah.
what's the other? Wait, what's the other one that you like? The New Jersey band, the other New Jersey band.
the Bouncing Souls.
Bouncing Soul.
Yeah, yeah.
I
You gotta put your
remember
head down,
seeing
Chris,
them.
man. I'm only seeing your nose and down.
Yeah.
Can't see the rest of your face.
Oh, sorry,
I remember seeing Bouncing Souls at Ashbury Park, I think it was. What's that big outdoor venue? Like the Heat.
Stone Pony.
Stone Pony,
PNC.
Stone Pony. Yeah, 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 yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
one of those
Sigvidal
places.
was
Yeah,
playing with them, I think. And I think Soul Glow, I can't remember.
man,
Yeah.
sick of it all just brings it.
Yeah.
They're just nonstop. Have been bringing it for years, and like Agnostic Front, like Murphy's Law, like Cro-Mags, and a few other bands. Uh, Agnostic Front and for sure, and Ticket of All have been carrying the New York hardcore torch for so long, and
Definitely.
they keep making music. They keep releasing records. That's the thing. You can't be in a band and just and you're
Yep.
just you got to the object of being in a band is to keep playing music. You don't want to
Yeah.
keep playing the same music. You can just keep playing music, write new songs. Sometimes if things change and you grow and things go in a little different direction, but it's all kind of in the same sound and genre, the sound of the band, a
Exactly.
cohesiveness. So they've been unbelievable and you know just great bands. Dom is like, I'm so excited about this weekend. We're playing with AF, and Dom
Yep.
is like, never playing with AF,
Yeah,
and I'm like, yeah, they're fucking awesome.
yeah,
And I'll be at that show, I'm pretty sure too.
And we hope to see you there, man. You
Yeah.
gotta come say
yeah.
hello.
And we're back.
Oh yeah, part
Yep.
two.
Actually, when I was in the middle of making the new meeting and the old one, I actually found something out. Have you heard of The Sims? It's like a game.
Okay.
Yeah. So apparently they have like punk references in the game. Like random NPCs will have these like parody Bad Religion battle jackets or these Bad Brains ones, and it's
Oh,
awesome. And I
oh, that's
never
cool.
noticed
I never
that.
heard that.
That's cool. I never
Yeah,
knew that.
they had a
We
minor threat one too, I think.
we were in somebody did a gaming thing and a couple of times and they had our songs were in it.
Oh, no way. That's cool.
Yeah, some guy put our yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool. I didn't know that. Yeah. Yeah, but it's crazy
I didn't
because
either.
I keep,
Yeah, it's like some
yeah, I keep
Yeah,
seeing
but
like,
The Sims is like the original. The Sims is like the
yeah.
original, like home gaming
yeah,
PC laptop gaming of like where you have your little town and they all go around doing their business.
yeah, that's what The Sims is. Yeah.
Yeah,
This was in Sims 4, which I think is the newest one. There might be a Sims 5. No, it's Sims 4. Uh, And yeah, they have like it's funny because you could see Darth Vader walking down the street and then someone in a Bad Religion jacket, and it's in the normal game. And that's kind
yeah,
of crazy. It's kind of crazy because metal and like hardcore keep appearing in games like Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 and 4. They're remaking that. Soundtrack
yeah. I was
for it.
just thinking about like I wish we could get on that soundtrack.
Yeah,
Yeah,
soundtrack for it is crazy.
Yeah,
Um, And I don't know if you've heard of Fortnite, but they have so many metal bands in there. And it's
yeah.
funny because you can play as James Hetfield. Like you
yeah,
could be James Hetfield and
Wait, the Tony Hawk Pro Skater. I think that was the first time I ever heard Quicksand.
no way, that's crazy. With
Yeah,
Walter
Thorn in My
Schreifels.
Side.
Oh, that's a great. Yeah,
Yeah, it's
yeah,
a great song. And I was like, who's this song? And it's Quicksand. I'm like, wait, who's Quicksand?
yeah.
And
That's
I look it
crazy.
up and I'm like, oh shit, it's Walter.
Yeah. Walter, he's a really good guy. I haven't
Yeah.
really had the time to talk to him like that, but I've heard a lot of stories.
Oh yeah,
And
you should get him on your show next.
yeah.
Oh, and speaking of sick, well, we all gonna give a big shout out to Lou, who's
yeah.
Lou,
been
yeah.
he's been battling cancer and he's making his recovery and we can't wait to see those guys on stage with him again. And
Yeah.
I wish him just the best recovery and to keep going forward. It's impressive his strength and stamina. And that whole band is all about strength and stamina. When they play, like listening to them play and watching them play, you're like nonstop strength and stamina.
Yeah.
So
Luckily,
best to him.
luckily from Pete, I think I can't remember what he totally told me, but it's in the previous episode with Pete. I think he said Lou has no cancer anymore, but he has to get through the chemo and then he's fully done with it. So I'm hoping that really goes well for him.
Yeah, yeah. After all, he's got to, like I said, he's got to build up his strength and
Yeah,
stamina to get going again. It's
definitely.
hard,
Yeah.
hard work being in a band,
Look, man,
especially when you're not a teenager anymore.
sick of it all, and Lou will have a full healing, and when
Yeah.
Sick comes back, the energy level is going to be on steroids.
For real. There, yeah, so
And
many
I
people.
promise you this, and they're going to like reshock the world.
Exactly.
I'm making a prediction on this show. So when it happens, we can come back to this moment.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Because when they come back, so many people who haven't seen them in so long probably have heard about them from all like the fundraiser stuff, which is awesome. I have a Judge one, I think. I think they did one with Judge, and then there's a local festival here, New England Mile Hardcore. They did a collab with that, and I have those. There's so many like bands doing collabs for the fundraisers. So a lot of people who haven't heard of Sickvidal for and forever probably heard of them again and got back into them. So now their shows are probably gonna sell out, like when they're
Yeah,
playing. I can't wait for them to come back.
yeah, we all. I think we're all there. We're all
Yeah.
there.
What do you think was the biggest challenge in your career so far, and how did you overcome it?
Oh,
Hmm.
anybody want to jump, or I could jump on this one?
All
Go for
yours.
it.
Okay. The biggest challenge was for me was just getting into the life of music. I've been doing
Ooh,
this a
yeah.
long time. 48. I was in my first band at 16, so a little older than you.
Hmm.
And I was a big fan of Pantera. And that band got me into drinking. They made it look
Oh,
too fun.
yeah.
And and I can say this openly, it destroyed my life. It inevitably chipped away at me, destroyed
Yeah.
my life. And I thankfully I'm 2 years sober. I'm a little over 2 years sober now.
Yeah.
Driving to a point, and these guys accepted me. It gave me a rebirth. But I lost everything, and I even lost New York. I lost music. I lost everything. I had moved away out of state, and that's when I realized I missed New York.
Yeah.
So I come back. So the biggest challenge for me was probably overcoming buying into the lie of the lifestyle and the partying. It's not about that. It's about the music. And I overcame that. And there's nothing like losing my home state, losing the
Yeah.
music, losing my drum. My drums were in storage. My equipment was in storage. And I was like trying to find my way. I had lived down south for 2 months. And
Huh.
that's when I realized I need to get back to New York. And shout out to my brother from the band Cropsey, Donnie. He flew in to drive the U-Haul the
Ooh.
overnight back with me. I bought a new car down there. Came back to New York, stayed with a producer that I did one of my first albums with. I rented, sublet his apartment out, and got back on my feet. Got back to New York and just started getting back on the drum pad.
Yeah.
And got back up, and then eventually ran into these guys. So yeah, that was the biggest challenge. And I'm grateful for it because
Yeah.
And it's hard. It was real. It was a struggle, and we're glad you made it here.
yeah, yeah,
No
right.
doubt.
So,
No doubt. We're
worked
Yeah.
out,
glad.
right?
Trust me.
Yeah, very grateful for it. Very grateful to be here.
Yeah, we're grateful for you, Dom. And
Well, I'm
I'm
grateful,
gonna cry. I'm gonna cry because I'm
and
so
you
happy.
too, Dom. And this
I'm
is great
happy for
stuff.
that guy. That guy, Dom. Dom joined the band, and he was so excited. He was like, he was like a puppy going out for a walk every day when it came to practice. And he's like, "Ah,
Yeah.
let's play.
That's
Let's
so
go. I want to
awesome.
go. Let's go. I want to go." And now
Yeah.
now he's like he's since been to the vet, and he's like, "Let's go. Ready? I got this one."
Yeah. I I can't
And he
wait to
lets it
hear the
out.
new
But when we,
music too.
but when the show happens, it's like,
Yeah,
Oh
I
yeah.
learned to stay calm and reserve my energy.
yeah, you're learning. You're
And
learning.
has this new thing, and we played our first show for the new year, and Ken said this great line. He goes, "We're all gas, no brakes. We're point blank." And something clicked in my head when he said that, and I was like, "I'm gonna break something," and I did. So that Ken's got to keep saying that because it's like a switch that goes off in my head when he says,
Yeah. I love hardcore callouts.
So look, my man, Dom, the other Dom, the young Dom.
Yep.
Moderation and moderation. Never too much of anything.
Yep.
Yep.
That's a pretty good call on life.
I've actually recently,
Even even your moderation, you got to moderate sometimes because sometimes,
yep.
yeah, you got to let it go, and sometimes you don't. But what it is always stay back and keep yourself grounded. You
Yep.
know,
Yep.
don't believe the hype. Be who you are. And apparently Chris says they can't back. Be who you are, and seriously, like just keep playing music and doing
Definitely.
things.
Learn from my mistakes, man. You know, the one thing, and this was the thing that I think I was most grateful for is, I hang out at bars now. I'm not tempted. And the reason why is because I remember that the reason why I got into this in the first place is because I love music.
Yeah.
And I like I fell in love with it again.
Mm-hmm.
I fell in love with music and the shows and the people and the experiences of it. And I would say that to you, gravitate towards the music, man, because that's
Definitely.
what it
Yeah.
really is. There's a lot of stuff around music, no matter what tier on the totem pole you are, that is a distraction to why we're here in the first place, and it's the music.
Definitely. Yeah. Music is everything. To me, music is life. Like
Yep,
it's
Yeah,
all I have, really.
yeah,
I'm trying to go to college for music. It's, you know, I kind of want to build guitars for a living, but I also want to learn how to
sweet.
produce.
very
Uh,
cool.
yeah. So I'm trying to learn how to produce better, and I'm trying to learn how to build guitars because music gave me all this, so I want to give back to music, you know?
So when I need some fret work done, I'm going to call you.
Yep. Yep. Yeah.
Hey, that's the one. That's the one thing about guitars is like when you start playing guitars and you really play and you have like
Yeah.
5 or 6 of them, you got to maintain them. So it's like
Exactly. That's why I want to learn.
you can't send them out to be maintained. You got to learn to do that yourself.
Yeah.
Uh, and me being I've been experienced in doing this, playing for like 40 years, but during COVID, I learned a lot about the
Definitely.
maintenance, like stuff like now I have my own little files, and I'm not even buying expensive files. Like I'm even using like like emery boards and like things to smooth the edges and dress the frets and polish the frets and clean the electronics, and I have no problem using a soldering iron and all that now. I've been mechanically inclined most of my life, but like when I'm what I- like what you're talking about, luthier. Well, no, I really want to get into guitar setups.
Yeah.
So in the next few years, it'll be my little side hustle. I'll do guitar setups.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
I've been setting up my own for so long. I can handle most. And I keep watching, various YouTubers and stuff like.
Yeah.
The best one is Phil McKnight. I mean, that guy is amazing. Know your gear. He can give you. You watch his videos, and every time you watch his videos, you'll learn something new, like small
That's
things. And it's so great because he's also like, you don't need to have the expensive stuff. You can do it with your own. Like if you don't have this, well, you can use that.
that's
Little
awesome.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Because tools are expensive, man. But you just need some good screwdrivers and a few files and some what is it called,
I
Magyars automotive polish.
I have
That's
no
real that
idea.
that works pretty well. That works pretty well, and some lemon oil or something for the fretboards.
Yeah, yeah,
Keep it
yeah.
hydrated. Keep it clean and hydrated.
First thing actually, my dad made me learn before I even like fully learned guitar was how to change strings.
There
There's
you
some
go.
people who still don't know how to change strings, and they
Th-
probably play better
Wait,
than
wait, wait,
me.
wait, wait. Those are the people I want to work for.
Yeah, exactly. No, no, no. See, you don't want to
You
like
know what I mean?
see like there always has to be those people because then how are you gonna get money?
That's
Exactly.
I need to make some I need to make some
Exactly.
money. Everything is more expensive now.
Oh, dude,
In
it's so
fact,
bad right now.
we, three of us in the band are married with kids. Kenny, myself, and Chris. Dom has a beautiful girlfriend partner. They don't have kids, but they have a beautiful dog, Nick. So we all have other responsibilities on top of the band always. We have full-time jobs,
Yeah.
and so it's life gets spread thin between everything, but we still like try to bring it, right, Kenny? All gas, no brakes.
That's it. That's the motto now.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree.
And
Um,
PIF.
Yeah, a little bit of that too.
But yeah,
yeah.
We lost
You
Chris. He can't get back in.
Yeah, he texted me. He said
but I
thanks
had to
for
put the kids
having
to sleep.
yeah. Actually I wanted to ask you, do you have any advice for younger bands trying to make their mark in the hardcore scene?
Check your egos.
Yeah. Oh my
Don't
God, that's
don't
so yeah.
don't. A, a band is like a family. It's a cohesive. It's a unit, and everybody's a little bit of just because somebody doesn't write the songs doesn't mean they're not part of the band. They have other things
Exactly.
that they bring to the band. You know, whether they want to make flyers or design, or they're just there to support and keep the music going. It doesn't
Definitely.
matter. So check your egos. Don't be mad because somebody is not a good enough player. You're the whole idea of the band is to pick everybody up and run forward as a team.
I
Don't
also
no leave no one behind.
Now,
yep.
I was,
And
Actually,
Kenny would agree with me on that. I've been pretty much like that with a few drummers here and there, and not you, Dom, but like previous people where I'm like, no, he's all right. We'll make him work.
yeah. I actually want to add to that. A lot of people around here, in terms of egos, it's not towards their other band members, but to literally everyone else. Um, my advice, I'm not even like that like older and I'm not really in a active band right now, but if you want to get shows, don't be an asshole because if you want to get shows, you want to support other people's shows because then they'll want to book you for shows.
yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
Yeah,
yeah. See,
definitely.
don't be an asshole is key. I mean, my advice is practice. Number one,
Yeah.
play and practice. Number two, fall in love and stay in love with the music.
Yep.
Don't let the lifestyle that music could bring influence you. Okay. And there's no rock stars here. You know,
Yeah,
you're not,
exactly.
you're not playing.
that's what we love about hardcore.
To piggyback on what Dan said about checking your egos, doesn't matter. People gravitate to your music because they identify with it, and there's no
Exactly.
reason, whether it's another band or a fan or a kid or an adult or whoever, to have any attitude. You're there, they're appreciating your art, so you should appreciate them and be grateful. Gratuity is the root of music. So don't be an asshole. Yeah, that's the quick,
Exactly.
Yeah.
but yeah, definitely.
Also, there's a little difference where people are like, it's practice or rehearsal. Practice and rehearsal don't go together.
Two
Yeah.
different things.
Two different things. You practice at home. You learn the songs. You come together for rehearsal to work on the song and play it together.
In the performance.
If you're not working on that, you're playing together, then you're working on a songwriting session. You're working on things, together. Like sometimes we'll have practices and we're all there and we rehearse the set, we rehearse the songs. And sometimes when somebody, a couple of times, people can't make it, and then it becomes a writing session, or we work on certain parts or try to work on changing things just to see how it goes. You
Yeah.
know, that's how we came up with quite a few songs. Like Thoughts was like that. Chris came with this song called it ended up becoming a song we call Thoughts, and he was coming with his bass line and stuff, and I was playing with it, and I was like, well, I don't want to play the same thing you're playing. And I think try this, and I would play like a double stop, like on the middle four strings, the middle two strings, I would play like
Yeah.
the chord, and then I would play the chords that way, and it turned into kind of like a melodic. Him on the low end and I'm on the higher end spectrum, and it turns out to
That's
this nice
cool.
little melodic part. And then I was like, great, this is awesome. And you know what? I'm gonna stop playing, and the bass is gonna drive the song again. And so all of a sudden, we wrote this whole song in practice. And Kenny, 2 weeks later, Kenny's like comes with words, right?
Yeah.
3 weeks later, Kenny comes with words. Dom comes with his drums, and we talk about it. We play it
Yeah.
like that. Sometimes it's really quick. Sometimes it's 3 or 4 months. You start something and you come back, you leave it, and you come back to it. But there's a difference between practice, rehearsals, and songwriting sessions.
Definitely.
That's how it works. That's
Yeah.
how it works. Because time is money. Like we all have to. We all have to pay for practice space, and time is money. So
Yep.
we want to use the time wisely, so we
Hmm.
don't waste that money. Plenty of that
Exactly.
being wasted by me playing in a band.
Yeah.
Right,
I
Kenny? Right. We ain't more money to be made here. There's money to be spent, but none to be made.
That's for sure.
But we do it, why not, man? It's fun.
Yeah,
It's fun because,
exactly.
kids like you come and listen to it. It's a great time.
Yeah. In hardcore, you can't expect to earn money. You gotta expect to lose it, especially actually just in music in general, because you gotta buy instruments, practice space. You gotta,
Eh,
if you don't know how to produce, this is why I'm learning how to produce, you gotta get a producer and then a bunch of other stuff.
You don't need
And
to get a
yeah,
producer at your age. You
I
guys go.
mean, yeah.
You guys go experiment and do it yourself. You record. The real trick key is with practices and stuff. If you get a good recorder and make a good balanced
Ooh.
recording, then you go home and you put it into like GarageBand,
Oh,
and then you
GarageBand.
yeah you throw it in GarageBand, and then you all you're doing is you're playing with the EQs
I've
very
never.
lightly, and output it, and you can make it like there are times where we've had practice in the sense like completely shit. The times where we play and practice and I record it and I throw it in GarageBand, you're like, that's really clean sounding,
Yeah.
right, Kenny?
Yeah.
Right, Tom?
Yeah.
Yep.
True.
I've actually
True.
never used GarageBand. I've only tried
Right.
Reaper, and it's like really complicated, and I kind of hate it. So you know what? I
Now,
might try
when
GarageBand.
we practice, like we'll jam, and then Dan brings something, he records it,
Ooh.
does whatever he does with it,
Yeah, I bring a little
and sends us
recorder.
the file, and then I take that file, I put it on my phone, and I can
Ah,
put it into an e-kit, and then
Yep.
I practice our set every day. Like
that's
I get
sick.
ready
Yeah.
ahead of time. So I'm playing this stuff every day. So it's like I'm jamming with them every single day. So we only get together, let's say, once a week. But the fact is I'm playing the point blank stuff every day. I'm rehearsing, I'm practicing and rehearsing, prepping every day, which I think is important because I've done a lot in my career, and consistency is key. And the one thing I am a true believer in now more than anything is doing all the little things, doing the small things, because all those little things, all that little practice time, rehearsal time adds up to big things, which is
Exactly.
when you perform, you want to explode when you perform. And bands like Agnostic Front and Sick of It All and Madball, these bands and a lot of others, they found that. They tap into that. Because right when the moment starts, when you start your set, that's when all the little things add up to the big thing and you explode right there in front of everybody.
Yeah, definitely. That's how I feel with kind of practicing guitar. I try to practice. This is kind of like crazy, and I like never get it done. I actually haven't practiced in 2 days. I probably should, but I try to practice for 5 hours every day.
I used to do 12.
Oh, geez. What?
I used to do 12. I used to do 3 hours on the drum pad. And then I would do like
Oh,
another 3 hours of learning stuff on the drums, then a couple of more hours of applying everything I practiced to the drums, and then I would have like 2 hours of just a free jam.
oh,
What
that's
I can tell you now is because obviously time is cut. I have sessions. I have practice sessions that are as little as 10 minutes on the drum pad and maybe a 15-minute set, so under a half hour. So, and then as long as 3 hours, right?
Huh.
What I
Yeah.
do is I allocate my time. The thing I try to do is every day, even if it's 10 minutes. So, what you should tell yourself for practicing guitar is I'm going to pick it up every day, even if it's for a minimum of 10 minutes, because 10 minutes is
Okay.
better than 0 minutes,
That's
right?
true. Yeah.
And then consistency. So, one day it's 10 minutes, then those 10 minutes will turn into 21 day. But as long as you're doing it every single day, little by little, the little things add up to the big things, and you get there. Like I've been working on a couple of things where I started out doing it a minute. Now I could do it longer, but doing it a minute every day is why I could do it longer. So you slow build.
We're
Yeah.
catching.
Yeah.
Look, we caught Dan in the fridge.
Yeah. What are you doing there? Deno? He's hitting the biz.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying myself.
Is there
Anything?
is there
Ooh,
any like bands or artists in the hardcore scene right now that you're really into, like brand new ones?
Brand new ones. Hardcore scene. Artists.
Could be like
yeah,
2010s too.
Yeah, I
yeah.
do. Yes. So for
Dead Street
me,
Dreamers from Vermont.
uh,
Great band.
Ooh.
drummer Mike, who plays with Call Bomb Parade and Incendiary Device,
It's a dear to us, yeah.
he's like kind of a drum guy. We're two drum guys, so we get together and we can
Yeah.
chop it up. Uh, Mike Rayo of Fire is Murder, great drummer. So
Fires
those are
Murder,
like
yeah.
actual guys. And then as far as like just the scene, man, there's just so many bands. Like, and I'm not talking about like bands people have heard of. I'm talking about bands that like, unfortunately they broke up, but I loved Eight Metro. Eight Metro was a great band. Um, Fire's Murder, Crazy Eddie, Incendiary Device. I could go
Mhm.
on. It's just, and I'm trying to think of some, but like bands that I've seen at shows, either whether we've played or shows have I attended. There's a lot of good bands out there and a lot of great
Yeah.
musicians.
That's exactly what I mean when I ask that question. Because what I try to do, I try to like do it so local bands people can discover. Because there's a lot of good bands out there that people don't know about because they're not that big. So they can't really find them. But say they're watching this, they want to check out some new bands, then they'll always find new local bands from that, and then it gives more exposure to the local bands.
Yeah. Valfor. I could throw out Valfor. I actually have,
Ooh,
you know what I do? The back of my car,
that's
I take the stickers from bands we play with and I plaster them on my car. So it's kind of like an homage to them. I
oh,
have to
that's
do
sick.
because if I don't, I'll get in trouble because it's my brother. If you don't know who Cropsy is, go check out Cropsy. Um, I have to throw a shout out to them because Donnie's a knucklehead. So
Listen,
Yeah.
I'll throw you some. I'll throw you some. They're not local here, but for you, Dom, you're up in Massachusetts, right?
Yep. Yep.
So coming down the pike a little bit, we played with these guys when they were three-piece and they were 12, well, no, 13, 14, 15. Anxious from
Anxious.
Connecticut.
Oh, they're huge now. They're
Yeah,
huge.
man. We
Yeah.
we we
They're like
they
big.
we had them. I had them come down from Connecticut. They played down in Astoria, Queens, the Shield Tavern with us when they were three-piece. They had their dad drove them down.
That's
Um,
sick.
then they start getting bigger, bigger, bigger.
Yeah,
But
they
then
were like
they
14,
they
Actually,
returned
15.
they returned the favor, right? And then we played with them up in Connecticut
ooh.
in a show. But now, yeah, now look at them. They're
Actually,
they're
yeah.
for that. I'm like, more power to you. It's great to see a young band to go, and be able to do stuff like that. That's awesome. I'll throw another
They
one. We
wait.
didn't play with them. What were we saying?
They played. They also played Rockefeller Center.
I
Yeah, they
actually
did.
I have
Uh,
something. I just saw them recently. Hold on. I have a hoodie. Ah, let me find it in my pile of clothes. Here it is. Here it is. Ugh. It was a big festival. So, I'm a fiddlehead, American football. Let me see if I can find them on here. Um, so it was a huge festival. Mainly like they're like somewhere down here. Oh yeah, they're the first band at
I
the
see him.
bottom.
I see him. Yeah,
Yep,
yeah,
right there.
yep.
Yeah, Anxious. So that's actually
Uh-huh.
really sick. I wasn't expecting to hear about Anxious. That's kind of crazy.
The funny thing is
That's,
they had I don't know, it was a couple of weeks ago, whatever it was, because they're always on tour now lately. But for whatever was going on, they had a group chat on Instagram. So I joined the chat, right, as the band Point Blank.
Yeah.
So I don't know what I wrote. I wrote something, and then I'm trying to think of the singer. I can't think of the kid's name. It doesn't matter. Anyway, he was the one that was doing a thing. So he sees me on the chat. So now our theme song, Point Blank, it's I'm locked and loaded, my fingers on the trigger. We're coming for you, Point Blank. So when he see me on the chat, he says, "Yeah, Point Blank, we're coming for you." And it was pretty like nobody else on that chat knew who the hell we are, whatever he was
Yeah.
saying. Again, we got this little kinship from when they played with us. So
That's
it's nice to
sick.
see somebody that was obscure of nothing, and now look at them, man. They're all
Exactly.
running. I'm happy for them.
Just for the sake of driving, because I keep a show journal. This is becoming the stuff of legend.
Ooh.
But like just to throw out some bands that we played with, Deadshot, young band.
Deadshot.
Uh,
Long Island hardcore, right?
yes,
Yep.
yeah,
They're a new
Deadshot.
band. They're really young. I know those guys.
Yes, they are. More Myself to Kill, Rick Time and Freya, Non-Residents, Amaru and Roberto. I got to send them a shout out. No Call, No Show from my hometown, Staten Island. They're great. Burn the Martyr, Horse Grenade.
Burn the Martyr.
What else? Hold on, let me flip through here. 8 Metro, Fires Murder. Faded Line,
Baited
Jimmy
Line. Yep.
Davis. Bitch Switch, Idiot Box. Great band, Idiot Box. Who else do I have here that I could throw out? Let's see. Who was really cool? That band that we played with, the last one, Life Abuse. They were
Life
another cool
Abuse.
band. But yeah, that's just throwing out some names for people to check out. Those are bands that I would definitely check out. We've played with them, and
yeah.
they were just
Yeah.
great.
One band.
Another great band we played with is we also had them at the Shillelagh. And I was like, oh, these guys are great. And like, man, it's like really fast, like Southern Cal punk, but with good New York East Coast edge to it. And that was Chemical X. And they have a new
Chemical
record
X.
they have a record coming
I've
out.
heard of them
I can't
actually.
wait to get them. They're out of Jersey.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Those guys are really good too, man. Their guitar player, he's a monster machine with one pickup and an old PV solid state amp, and he's just
Ooh.
he
Yeah.
kills it every time. And I'm
I'm
like,
gonna have a
watch
little.
it.
I'm gonna have a little fun here, Dan. If you guys, Ken and Dan, will allow me, I'm gonna throw another band out there. You probably haven't heard of them yet, but you will. Concrete Burial.
Oh, I've heard of them. Yes, I have.
All right.
But before we go,
You gotta
actually,
laugh at that.
yeah,
Yeah.
before we go, I
You
actually
know
wanted
it.
to shout out one more band from New Jersey. You guys might have heard of them because I know you know Incendiary Device. They play with them a lot. Have you heard of Life of Deceit? They used to be Gunk.
Yeah.
They
Okay.
just signed to Bayway. I did an interview
Anyway.
with the guitar.
Tom's a Bayway guy.
Yeah, with the
Yeah.
guitarist from Life of Deceit. They're really cool dudes. They're playing a festival me and my friend are helping with, and then my other
Nice.
friend's hosting it. So that's sick. Yeah. Uh
Dude,
besides that,
all I know is that the hardcore scene is in good hands with you, Dom.
yep,
Yeah.
Not
thanks.
my Dom, the other
Yeah,
Dom.
man. When guys like you, like running into me, guys like you, and it's just your youth and the fact that you're there and you're in it, it lets me know that 40 years from now, there's going to be a kid like you interviewing you, and
Yeah.
conversations are just going to go, they're going to continue to go. And I think hardcore as a whole, it's just going to continue to grow. I look at it, I look at hardcore kind of like the way you could look at baseball, right? So when baseball started in the late 1800s, baseball was kind of like they call that the golden era. Babe Ruth,
Yeah.
Cobb, Lou Gehrig, the Honus Wagner. So when you Bad Brains, Agnostic Front, those bands were like the golden era. And I look at hardcore now because we're 40 years into it. kind of like now we're in the era of the Mickey Mantles, the Roger Marises, the Joe DiMaggio.
Yeah,
This is the Silver era. You know, we
exactly.
still got a long way to go, man. And the youth are going to be the ones to get us there.
Definitely, yeah. Huge shout out to Point Blank for coming through. Everyone listening, go support them. They're playing with Agnostic Front and Murphy's Law in Amityville, April 6th, which is really soon, this Sunday, right?
Sunday, this
Yeah.
Sunday. You
Yeah.
Get there
listen,
early.
5:30, kid. You better be there.
Yep,
I'm gonna be
I'll
looking
try.
for
I'll
you.
try. Yeah.
5:30. It's going to be 20 minutes of all gas, no
No
brakes.
breaks.
Yeah.
All gas, no brekes.
All
Yeah,
right.
we
Thank you
got
for
Dom,
being
thanks for
here.
everything. I wish you all the best.
You too.
we got
Thank
a
you.
nice
Thank
set
you.
list for this. Dom, great show. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you for being here.
Hell yeah.
All right, bye.
Take care, man.